It looks like there is trouble in paradise for Britney Spears. And let me just start by saying this. Whenever I go more than a day or two without posting a Britney video, I get all of these messages. But look, ladies and gentlemen, there's only so much I can say about this woman. I get it. She's still posting the weird, cringy videos on Instagram. I've seen them all. But after looking into this story for over 2 years now, I can confidently say that there's really nothing here. I have come to the conclusion long ago that Britney is just nuts. There's no body doubles, there's no clones, there's no big conspiracy, and no, the conservatorship was not a big conspiracy. Britney was just out of her mind. And this is not just my opinion. You have to see that Britney had a case against her father that was basically laughed out of court. They had to settle, and she had to pay her dad's legal fees because the judge realized, and they determined that there was nothing there. And when given the opportunity, Britney could have spoke up for herself, but she was incapable of doing so, which is one of the reasons why her lawyer settled. Because Britney may have had to testify. She may have had to take the stand and tell the world what happened to her, but she was incapable of stringing 2 sentences together. Okay? So that's the reality of the situation. There's no big, deep, dark conspiracy. Britney is just kind of nuts. But speaking of this failed case against her father, that's where this story brings us today. Because you see, lately Britney has been on Instagram crying like a teenage girl that just got dumped by her boyfriend. And apparently she's going through some things with Paul. Paul, if you don't know, is her toilet cleaner that she cheated on her husband Sam with. That's right. Britney was married to Sam Asghari, a C-list actor, model. I don't know. Is he a bodybuilder? I don't know. She was married to Sam, and she cheated on Sam with the janitor at her house that cleans her toilets. The little poop fleckles that get stuck on the toilet bowl. Yeah, he's in there scrubbing it off, scrubbing all the poop flecks off. Then he comes out the bathroom and Britney throws herself on him. Because that's what Britney does. Britney, more often than not, she's not going after another famous person. Britney preys on people who work for her because she feels like she can have some type of control over them. That's why when you look at a lot of her past relationships, it's literally people who were employed to her. Maybe they were backup dancers, chefs, or toilet cleaners. This is something that Britney always does. But she posted this on Instagram recently. Single as F. I will never be with another man for as long as I live. So, I'm used to seeing stuff like this when a woman gets broken up with or when she breaks up with her boyfriend. We see, young women react this way. But Britney Spears isn't what I would call a young woman anymore. If Britney Spears is 15 or 16 and she says, I'm single as F now, I'll never talk to another boy, that would be understandable. You're a teenager. Britney's 40-something years old. Still acting like a kid. Still acting like a child. And it's funny because she'll say stuff like this. She says stuff like this and she forgets that, wait, Britney, allegedly, according to you, you've been single this whole time. You see Britney for a very long time. I'm not so sure if she's ever even really come clean. She pretended like Paul is like a figment of everyone's imagination. Paul doesn't exist. Paul is just a lie created by her father, created by Sam, created by the paparazzi to make her look bad. Well, we know Paul exists, and Paul has been cleaning her pipes Not just in her house, but in her vagina. We know Paul exists. And this is just, her confirming that they've been in a relationship, which I guess maybe now they're not in a relationship. Who knows? But then she goes one step further. She accuses Paul of doing the unthinkable. You see this photo right here? This photo was taken right after the news broke that her little case against her father went absolutely nowhere. When the news broke that she had to settle out of court and she looks like a complete idiot that had made up a bunch of fabricated, over-exaggerated lies about her conservatorship, she was somehow found by paparazzi and she kicked a hole in her own windshield as Paul was driving her around. But now, here we are, months later, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say this happened like back in April-ish. Maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me if I am. But this happened months ago. And now Britney is coming out basically accusing Paul of setting her up with the paparazzi. Here's what she says. Why was he going 90 in a neighborhood with one pop following only to roll the window down when the pop pulls to the side of me? Then he calls his mom and says he's being harassed. Why did he roll the window down with me crying in the seat? So, I don't know if this is true. I wouldn't be surprised if Paul is working with the paparazzi, getting some money, in exchange for putting in Britney in scenarios where they can take photos. I will say this. I have seen more paparazzi photos of Britney Spears since she's been with this Paul dude. I've seen more photos in the last couple of months than I did for the couple of years that she was out of the conservatorship and with Sam. So either she's going out in public more with Paul, or Paul is setting it up to where the paparazzi know where they are. Because for a couple of years there, we were wondering, is Britney really alive? Because all we would see are these same videos of her twirling in circles in her living room. But now we're starting to see her out and about with Paul and by herself. But we're seeing her a lot more recently as far as paparazzi photos go. So maybe he is setting her up with paparazzi, or maybe this is Britney being overly paranoid again. But at the end of the day, she should know better than to be out with some dude like Paul. And I'm wondering, has he signed any NDAs? Non-disclosure agreements? One thing that Britney's father made sure of is that the people who came around Britney, they signed these agreements. So they couldn't come out and tell you how freaking crazy that woman was. So that's one of the reasons why you haven't heard as much, is because her father made sure that people signed these agreements. And this isn't something unheard of when it comes to celebrities. This is very common. But her father and the conservatorship, it had, it provided a certain structure to Britney's life. So people like Paul wouldn't be able to just come in and be dating Britney, riding around, getting caught by paparazzi without signing certain agreements to make sure that he doesn't write a book in the future or doesn't tell her deep, dark secrets. Her father protected her in that way. Now that her father is out of the picture, now that the conservatorship is over, I'm wondering, is there anyone there ensuring that these people are signing these agreements? Because if not, hopefully they haven't. We're going to be hearing from Paul. We're going to hear from some of these people who have come into Britney's life post-conservatorship. Because even Sam, I do believe that Sam had to sign certain agreements as well, which is why you haven't heard as much from him either. Also, it seems like Sam has taken the high road when it comes to their breakup. But I don't know about this Paul dude. It's very likely that her and Paul can break up, and a year or so from now, Paul might start spilling the beans. But you want to know who is spilling the beans? It turns out that Paul is allegedly still married. Okay? So I want you to put that in perspective. The innocent victim, Britney Spears, the teeny tiny little Britney. Oh, everyone's out to hurt little Britney. Britney was married, cheating on her husband with Paul. Paul was married, cheating on his wife with Britney. Okay? I want that to be understood here. Britney didn't get with Paul after Sam. Sam caught Britney on security camera screwing Paul. But Paul's wife, or his baby mama, she's been speaking out lately. And don't get me wrong, she's not like talking to the media or anything like that. She's on social media and she's interacting on some of these Britney Spears pages where people go to discuss the truth about Britney. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fan pages filled with Yas Queens, but there's also pages where people go to discuss the type of stuff that we discuss in this video. And I believe one of the pages is discussing Britney. And Paul's wife has been going over there, airing him out, revealing certain information. And she talked about this post that Britney posted. Here's what she had to say. It's BS. They're still together. Little Miss Britney just doesn't like people figuring her life out, I promise. And that day, he panicked because he lied to me, his wife. And that one pops caught his lie and put it in the news. He skipped his son's dental appointment and got caught in the news. So apparently that day he was supposed to be taking his son to the dentist, but he was out riding with Britney Spears. And his wife had to find out about it because she sees these paparazzi photos on TMZ and she's like, what the hell? There's my husband. You said that you got caught up with work or something. You're out here riding around with Britney freaking Spears? Imagine that. Imagine being married to someone, having hella kids. Paul has like 10 or 11 kids, y'all. No lie, like 10 kids. Maybe even more. Imagine having a plethora of kids with someone, and then you find out via TMZ, you're chilling, you're eating your Cheeto Puffs on the couch, you got your reality show on the TV, you're scrolling through Instagram, social media, and you find out that your husband is secretly screwing Britney Spears when he's supposed to be at work? Wild. But that's the reality that this woman is having to deal with. And little Miss Innocent Britney, it just shows time and time again, she goes for these types and she goes for people in relationships. Kevin Federline, for example. And it's funny to me because everyone always looks at the people that Britney's dating or in a relationship with, and they want to hold them to certain standards that they don't hold Britney to. Understand, most of these people were random dudes who never thought in their wildest dreams they would be with Britney Spears. They're grungy dudes. A lot of them got their own baby mama drama going on, and Britney swoops right in, and she grabs them up. And it's like I said, we've seen plenty of examples now. Britney preys on her employees. Now, if this was a man, if Britney was a man, Britney would have already been Me Too'd and canceled. Is it okay for a man to always date his employees? The last 3 or 4 exes are employees that worked for you. Isn't that, that's not acceptable anymore in today's society. But Britney, she's sitting in her mansion, rocking back and forth, giving the sexual eye to the people gardening, to the people cleaning her toilets, and she'll pounce on them like a freaking puma. It's scary when you really think about it. This psychotic, formerly famous woman spinning in circles in these shitty outfits, trying to throw her vagina at you any which way possible. And of course, people like Paul, he's in a terrible situation. He can't afford to pay child support. He thinks this is a meal ticket. And now we got a toilet bowl cleaner riding around with one of the biggest pop stars of all time. And her fans, her Yas Queen fans, they don't got a single thing to say about it. Because they know if they speak on it, it makes Britney look bad. There's no way that you could talk about this story or talk about the situation that makes Britney look good. She looks like a desperate trailer trash hooker. That's what she looks like. That's how she acts. And it just is what it is, folks. But like I said, trouble in paradise. The guy that never existed, it turns out he exists. Turns out that they're having relationship issues. And all while this guy's still married to some other woman. I mean, it's insane. But I've learned long ago, it doesn't matter what Britney does. It doesn't matter. Because people are going to view her as this innocent victim no matter what, because of the conservatorship that she actually needed. Because she was doing so much better when she was under that conservatorship. Everyone knows it. You could sit here and make up lies about, well, this money and then the Kardashians and then this person. It's all bogus, folks. You can get strung around like a freaking idiot for years on end if you want to, or you can come to the side of the truth. I assure you, it is relieving once you accept the truth about Britney Spears. If you're a fan and you're holding on to hope that this is a big conspiracy to make Britney look bad, please let it go. Let it go. Live your life. And once you accept the truth that your idol is kind of crazy, makes horrible decisions, and likes preying on her employees, then you'll have the weight lifted off of your shoulders. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.